All right, so we got some news on Super Bowl Sunday morning, man, and this news definitely ties to the New York Giants. We definitely have to be on alert on this. Ian Rapoport dropping a tweet early in the morning saying the Titans are open to all options at the number one overall pick, including potentially trading the pick, sources say. And what they decide will have a major impact on everything and everyone going forward. Now, this is huge news because the New York Giants are sitting at number 3 right now. And as we all know, the quarterback race is pretty much a two-man race at the moment. So with that being said, there's a chance that the two quarterbacks go 1 and 2 and the Giants miss out at number 3. Now, we all know that the New York Giants need a quarterback on this team. Joe Shane is the guy that's going to be leading the charge. And after what he did with Daniel Jones in his contract situation and having to cut ties with him this year, they definitely are aware they need to have a franchise quarterback on this team. So they definitely feel all the pressure in the world to make sure they get their quarterback in this draft. Now, here's why this looms large for the New York Giants. You're sitting at 3. You have 2 teams above you that could potentially, they are in need of a quarterback, but some might say that they're not too, head over heels over these prospects. There might be a couple of other suitors in this draft class, other teams that are below the New York Giants that are looking to trade up and probably jump the Giants, knowing that they want one of those quarterbacks. The biggest name that's been on the radar for the New York Giants and continues to be on the radar is Shedeur Sanders. And for a lot of fans, the fan base is split. And that's no surprise. The fan base is split when it comes to a lot of different topics, but especially this quarterback race. Shedeur Sanders is a name that rings large for the New York Giants and their brass. If they trade up to number 1, they get the chance to take him and not have anybody else, spoil them from getting a Shedeur Sanders. Now, the problem with that is Cam Ward seems to be the guy that has a higher ceiling. And if you look at the mock drafts that are going on right now, and if you ask yourself, you're probably taking Cam Ward over Shedeur Sanders. It's just all about what Joe Shane and Brian Daboll and what they all prefer. It's looking like they might prefer Shedeur Sanders, but if they trade up to number 1 and take Shedeur Sanders, the fan base is not going to be happy. Shedeur Sanders seems like a guy that can fall to 3. I've seen mock drafts where he even falls to pick 6 to the Raiders. Can the Raiders jump the Giants and try to get them with the number 1 overall pick? I think everyone does think that Cam Ward is the better quarterback with a higher ceiling. So if you trade up to number 1, the noise is going to be loud trying to get a Cam Ward versus getting a Shedeur Sanders. You trade up to 1 to get Shedeur Sanders. What does that look like? What are you giving up to go from 3 to 1? Now, I wouldn't overreact if I'm a New York Giants fan. I understand you might be able to get Shedeur Sanders sitting at 3, but you can't really blame the front office. And granted, you can blame them for a lot of different things, but you can't really blame them if they love their quarterback prospect that they want to draft, if they want to go out and get them, making sure that happens and it pans out, then they don't look like fools in that scenario. The problem is Shedeur Sanders worthy of the number 1 overall pick? Shoot, a lot of people aren't sure if he's worthy of the number 3 overall pick. So whether it's at 1 or 3, I would not be too frustrated because if this front office loves that quarterback and they go do whatever they can to go get that quarterback, the pressure is on to make sure he is the guy. But at least they got their guy, and there's no excuse that this front office never got to get their quarterback. They had to deal with Daniel Jones. They inherited him. They gave him that contract. There's no such thing of that after you go out and trade up for the number 1 overall pick. If you ask me what the New York Giants should do, stand pat at 3. I wouldn't really be worried about trading up to the number 1 overall pick because, honestly, sitting at 3, you're sitting pretty comfortable knowing that you're getting Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, or Travis Hunter. That's looking like what's going to be the play. And you even have other people clamoring for Abdul Carter. Listen, I think Abdul Carter is a great prospect, and he looks like he could be the best player in this draft. But unfortunately, with the way the edge room looks on this team, I don't think you add him to this team. The quarterback position is what we need. A Travis Hunter is what we need if the quarterbacks are off the board. You sit at 3, we're looking good regardless, and you could probably still get the quarterback that you want. Trading up to 1, it better not cost more than a future first. I'm really hoping it's not a future first. I'd give them even a second from this year or maybe a second for next year. But a first round pick for next year, I'm not doing it. Trading from 3 to 1, I don't think it's necessary, especially considering the schedule that we have this upcoming season. We have a gauntlet, y'all. We said it last year, but even thinking about what this team's going to look like with the rookie quarterback, yeah, it's going to be a gauntlet for us. We could be in the top 5 again next year. And if that happens and you give another team that ammunition, look what you could have had. You could have had it if you stayed put at 3. You might have still had the quarterback you wanted if you stayed put at 3. So if you ask me what we should do, I don't think we trade up to the number 1 overall pick, but there's going to be some fans clamoring for it. There's going to be Joe Shane. Hey, that pressure that ultimately he put on himself, but also John Mara pressuring him to get a quarterback and also be competitive, yeah, he might be willing to wager whatever it is, because guess what? Joe Shane might not be here next year. Joe Shane and Brian Daboll might not be in the building next year. So whatever we think about them not training up to one, who cares about the future picks if they're not on the team? So if they hit on their guy, they hit on their guy. And if they don't, they're out of here regardless. So yeah, man, if I'm a Giants fan right now, I'm definitely keeping an eye on the Titans. Like I said, who's the other teams that's probably willing to jump the Giants? I look at the Raiders as the number one team. The Raiders have been linked to Shedeur Sanders for a long time. Obviously, Tom Brady is part of the ownership team over there, and Tom Brady also helped, train Shedeur Sanders along his way up. So I definitely would be looking at the Raiders being a possible suitor, and the Titans clearly just don't seem too sold on the quarterbacks. Doesn't mean that they're going to trade back. Doesn't mean that they're going to be willing to. It's almost kind of sort of like what the Patriots were. They were more content on, hey, there's a chance we can move back, but you would have to send us everything and the whole world. So I don't know if the Titans are really considering it. It could be just shopping it around, seeing what he will give. And if somebody blows them away, yeah, we're going to trade back and probably get whatever quarterback that we can. Overall, man, for the New York Giants' sake, if you're a Giants fan, let me know down in the comments how you feel about this news overall, what to expect. Hey, listen, everybody enjoy the Super Bowl Sunday that's taking place today. I've been trolling around with it, but I am rooting for the Chiefs and wholeheartedly. I'm not rooting for the Eagles, but regardless, man, I'm going to enjoy football. Last football game of the year. After the Super Bowl, obviously, next month we really kick into free agency, so that's great news to hear. Enjoy the game today. Hopefully you're watching with family and friends, and if you're not, man, I hope you're enjoying the game regardless. And definitely comment down below your thoughts and let me know your opinions. I'll definitely be making a video on the Super Bowl winner and just seeing where the Giants can kind of do after that. But appreciate y'all. Love y'all for tapping in. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.